knowing what the market is going to do.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. God, you go nuts listening to these shows on TV, Kramer, any of them. I mean, they're giving you total garbage. Garbage in, garbage out. One day they tell you, buy this stock. Next day, don't buy the stock. Then you have two people on their show. One guy saying buy it, the other guy says don't buy it. So the question is, what the hell do you do? Well, we don't have questions here at Phil's Gang. And they never have to ask the question, what do you think the market's going to do? My members always know what the market's going to do because they've learned how to follow the money. That's right, follow the money. You don't follow fundamentals. You follow the money. And what is that? That's volume. That's the buyers and the sellers. And the other thing, you got to learn how to sell a stock as well as buy a stock.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grandy.
Check it out, philsgang.com. Go to my podcast, YouTube, and Rumble every day. That's philsgang.com.
When making wise investment decisions, Phil Grandy has some sound reasons you should join Phil's Gang.
When I started this, they asked me, okay, can you explain to people why they should join the gang? Gee, I thought about that. And I guess to make money. But more than that, to get good direction on which way the economy's really going. We get so much crap, so many lies, how great the economy is and how great the tech business is, and when it's not. The problem is we have too many people in Washington and in this industry that just don't tell the truth. The truth is everything. And here at Phil's Gang, we stick with the facts. We tell the truth. We make sure our members, are getting the best information, and our listeners, like you. We make that information available to you and make it simple and understandable.
Good investing means understanding how the stock market works. Join today at philsgang.com.
With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG.
What are you, nuts? 85% of the people do not know how to get out of the market. They lose money because they don't know when to get out. I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. I solved that with my Pro 2 color-coded chart. It tells you when to get out. It tells you when to get in, tells you when to add, not to add. Specifically, when do I get out? It tells you that. Check it out. Go to my site, philsgang.com. Get your 10-day free trial of my Pro 2 color-coded chart and a membership. You're not alone. 80% of those in the stock market, just like you, lose money. Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. Why do they lose? Because they don't know how to short stocks in down market. That will change once you use my patent Pro 2 color-coded chart. It works. The technology works. And it not only gives you an edge on the upside, but Pro 2 will put a smile on your face on the downside. That's right. Check it out. Free 10-day trial at philsgang.com.
Are you a stock market investor without all the information?
What are you, nuts? Market's going up, market's going down. We're getting all this bad information.
How do you invest intelligently? Phil Grandy can show you.
If you want real information and you really want to know what the market's going to do and you want the truth, go to my site, philsgang.com, and also listen to me on my radio show every weekday at 3 o'clock Eastern.
Phil's got the answers at philsgang.com.
That's philsgang.com, where you get the truth and you get the information you need about the market.
The Feds have raised interest rates again, and AI is the topic of the day. No matter what the financial headlines are, be a successful investor with Phil's Gang at philsgang.com. Take advantage of the free 10-day trial for the Working Investor Program. Phil Grandy has put together the tools you need to understand the stock market, with full access to the Phil's Gang website and access to Phil's Pro 2 color-coded charting software. Know with confidence when to buy, sell, and short a stock. Members also have access to Coffee Talk. Every morning at 8:30 Eastern, Phil Grandy talks about what's happening on Wall Street that day. Want to be a better investor? Then take advantage of the free 10-day trial at philsgang.com. You'll find many more features and tools for the working investor. After the trial, it's just $59.95 a month for membership. Invest with the best. Phil's Gang at philsgang.com.
I've been a Phil's Gang member since 2014. Over that time, I've generated over six-figure profits. Following Phil, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life. I would recommend Phil's Gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents. If you really trust in their system, you will do well.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264.
The feds have raised interest rates again, and AI is the topic of the day. No matter what the financial headlines are, be a successful investor with Phil's Gang at philsgang.com. Take advantage of the free 10-day trial for the Working Investor Program. Phil Grandy has put together the tools you need to understand the stock market with full access to the Phil's Gang website and access to Phil's Pro 2 color-coded charting software. Know with confidence when to buy, sell, and short a stock. Members also have access to Coffee Talk. Every morning at 8:30 Eastern, Phil Grandy talks about what's happening on Wall Street that day. Want to be a better investor? Then take advantage of the free 10-day trial at philsgang.com. You'll find many more features and tools for the working investor. After the trial, it's just $59.95 a month for membership. Invest with the best. Phil's Gang at philsgang.com.
The stocks discussed on Phil's Gang are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information presented, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice. Get ready for the radio show that tells you what Wall Street doesn't want you to know.
Oh, I'm a money magnet. Money, money, money's coming to me. Money sets me free. I'm a money magnet. Money, 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 money's coming to me.
It's your daily dose of how to manage your money. And now it's time for Phil's Gang on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. With your host, Phil Grandy.
And good afternoon and welcome to Phil's Gang. The market, again, cannot hold any rally. Every time the market rallies, it slides right back. Why? Because there's just too much debt. And the real reason is we are really starting to pay the price for 13 years of free money. And this week here, it was when they started this week with the earnings season with the banks. I mean, it's just disgusting. The big banks are sitting there. We're being told every day how great they're doing, how terrific they're doing, they're making money, and none of it is true. They're in the same situation as the smaller regional banks. They have unrealized losses, but they're not reporting theirs, but they don't say anything about that. We're going to talk about that today. But when I tell you that we're finally paying the price for all these zero rates, it's showing up in the housing market. In the housing market. Today we finally hit the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, 8%. And the 30-year fixed rate mortgage, remember, is tied to the yield, the 10-year Treasury yield that keeps going up to fight the inflation because all this free money we had for 13 years, and all the free money, remember, who got that money? The big boys, the big corporations, the CEOs, so they could keep purchasing their own shares, reducing the amount of shares they have. So when there's less shares available, like anything else, you have a basket of apples and there's less apples available, right? The price goes up. That's exactly what they're doing with the stock, all artificial. And first thing I thought of today when I heard the 30-year fixed rate mortgage went to 8%, I said, I hope people really realize how they got screwed with this zero rates, and they're paying for it. This is the pain right there. This is the pain they're going to feel. Foreclosures are up 34% from a year ago. That's the pain you're going to feel. Now let's think about it for a moment. When that pandemic hit, everybody wanted to move out to the suburbs. Everybody moves out to the suburbs, right? So in 2020, you bought a house, $350,000. You put 20% down, and you got a rate of 3.5%, $1,200 a month. In fact, because the rate was so low, people could now, instead of being in a 1,500 square foot house for such a low payment, they could move up to a, 2,000, 2,500, 3,000 square foot house. So there you are, 2020, $350,000 house, 20% down, 3.5% rate, paying $1,200 a month. Now, 2022, that same home in 2 years, 24 months, went from $350,000 to $500,000. If you're living here in Sarasota, that same home, or St. Pete, that same home went from, from $350,000 to $600,000. Some of them almost doubled. But let's use the real world. So home now is $500,000. So put 20% down, but your payment now is 8%. 8%. That's going to be a payment of about $2,800. $2,800. But you were paying $1,200 before. This is destroying the banking industry, and this is why I had a laugh this week when I hear all of these great things about how the banks are doing terrific. Really? The banks are being put out of business. The banks can't give out mortgages. They lose money. So let's think about that. That's a 43% increase. The home price, 43% in 24 months. And the payment is 125% increase. So no one's going to be buying a home. There's no affordable housing. So what you have to do, the homeowner is going to have to decide if he's going to have to cut the price of his home by 40% to get it sold. Or if you got a 2.3% or 3% mortgage, you're just going to sit there and hope to God there's no emergency. You have to move out of town. This was the punishment for zero rates. Everybody thought they were getting such a great deal from 2008 to 2022 January, when the party was over. I mean, that's unbelievable. So I have to laugh about the banks. Listen to this week. Listen to this.
You think that the relative stability you're seeing in equities is masking some underlying weakness that is yet to be realized? I mean, are we on a precipice, or is this really showing that the underlying fundamentals are still good?
Fundamentals are, he has to ask the question, are the fundamentals really still good? Really?
The earnings outlook looks good. We think we bottomed out last quarter. We begin to reaccelerate, and the fundamental story is a good one, which is supportive of stocks.
So he gets his answer. Hey, everything's good. Fake Business Network answered him. Everything's good. Another one.
At the heart of it, I think, is that corporate earnings are still going to be pretty good.
Yeah, the earnings were terrific. Really good. Really good. What about the banking system? Oh, that's good too.
Overall, I think the banking system has reached a very strong and stable point, and I think confidence is building in that system and is likely to continue.
You sound insane. Do you realize that? You should be medicated.
And then Morgan Stanley comes out with their earnings.
Beat on the top and bottom lines for Morgan Stanley, reporting EPS of $1.38 per share. That's about 10% above estimates for the bottom line. Revenue coming in above consensus as well at $13.3 billion for the quarter.
Every bank side. Beat. Oh, they beat everything. Really. That's not what happened. Every bank stock that reported, Citi, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan, reported a profit. But they were losing money. You're being lied to. They were losing money. In the same way that Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic, Signature were losing money. No different. What's the difference? I'll tell you. You see, the way the banking system works, banks, when you're a depositor and you put money in the bank, of course, they take some of that money and they lend it, but take a lot of that money and they buy treasuries. They buy bonds and they buy mortgages and put it on their balance sheet to get that income. That's called reserves. So they have money in reserve. So when you, the depositor, walk into the bank and you give them a deposit or whatever you do, you give them the money, portion of the money goes to lend, the rest of it goes into buying bonds and mortgages. And they put it on their balance sheet. And they're making a nice income. But something happened on the way to the bank. Something happened starting in 2021. We had a new president who cut oil off. All of a sudden, inflation starts going through the roof. Inflation goes through the roof. So what do they have to do? What did Powell have to do? Well, he had to start raising rates. And every time he was raising those rates, it was getting closer and closer to that point that these banks were losing their profits. Silicon, First Republic, and Signature. But what about the big banks? Were they immune? They're trying to tell us they were, when they weren't. And I'm going to explain why when we get back. Like shorting the boats.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
There's nothing better than learning from the experts, especially when it comes to investing your hard-earned money.
Hi, this is Phil Grandy, host of Phil's Gang Radio Show. At Phil's Gang and philsgang.com, I have one goal in mind: to help you become a skilled investor in the stock market and find your financial freedom. With the Working Investor Program, you will learn what Wall Street doesn't want you to know. You'll develop skills like selling short and how to profit, even in a stock market crash. This is the real world investing information that will give you the edge to be successful in the stock market. No gimmicks, just real strategies, and I'll make the offer even better with a 10-day free trial of the Working Investor Program.
Once you're in the gang, you're in the know. And with the free 10-day trial of the Working Investor Program, there's no reason not to give it a try.
Become a Phil's Gang member and reclaim your financial freedom. Go to philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
To be a successful investor, you need to stay current with the daily changes in the economy and the stock market. Phil Grandy and philsgang.com can be your guide to becoming a better investor. Try the free 10-day trial at philsgang.com for the Working Investor. From the opening bell to the closing, stay informed with what's happening in real time. The Working Investor Program includes full access to the Phil's Gang website, a morning update on what to look for that day on Wall Street, a market wrap on that day's trading, plus seminars, training, and tools to help you become a better investor. Go to philsgang.com for a free 10-day trial. After that, it's just $59.95 a month for membership, daily updates, training, software, and the best investing advice every day. You can invest with the best. Phil Grandy and philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
Short on time but want to invest in the stock market? Let philsgang.com help you. For only $39.95 a month, you get complete access to all of Phil's powerful investing programs, videos, and resources.
That works for me. Log in, watch the videos, and make profits.
Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. philsgang.com.
When making wise investment decisions, Phil Grandy has some sound reasons you should join Phil's Gang.
You know, when I started this, they asked me, okay, can you explain to people why they should join the gang? Gee, I thought about that. And I guess to make money. But more than that, to get good direction on which way the economy's really going. We get so much crap, so many lies, how great the economy is and how great the tech business is, and when it's not. The problem is we have too many people in Washington and in this industry that just don't tell the truth. The truth is everything. And here at Phil's Gang, we stick with the facts. We tell the truth. We make sure our members, are getting the best information, and our listeners, like you. We make that information available to you and make it simple and understandable.
Good investing means understanding how the stock market works. Join today at philsgang.com. Why are investors listening to Phil Grandy of philsgang.com?
You know why people listen to my show? Because I make it simple. When you talk about the stock market, they make it so complicated. I make it easy to understand. For the average investor, the Main Street investor, most of the time, these guys, it's like they're talking to each other. We talk directly to you and we listen to you.
Invest better with the sound advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. Over the years, I've successfully taught tens of thousands of investors how to navigate the market with confidence. Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, the advice, and the software that will take your investing to the next level. I have a team comprised of successful investors, all with proven track records. And Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy, when to sell, when to hold, when to run like hell, even short. Learn about common market mistakes and how to minimize them. You don't have to be a seasoned investor to benefit from Phil's Gang and platform. No matter what level investor you are, my strategies for investing are designed to put you on the path to success. Sign up for the 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Avoid market pitfalls and start winning with Phil's Gang. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com.
Welcome back to the Phil's Gang Radio Show. Want to know more about Phil's Gang? Go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
So, we're being told how great the economy's doing, and the banks are really doing terrific. They're really doing terrific. Earnings are really good. But wait a minute, something's wrong. Let's see, when I look at the earnings, the S&P 500, out of those 500 stocks, 493 of 500 stocks are not making money. Negative 5%. There's only 7 of 500 stocks that are making money, that are positive 33%. Just 7 stocks. And those are the Magnificent 7 stocks. NVIDIA, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Meta, and Tesla. Those are the same stocks that the market went up from 2009 to 2022. The NASDAQ, those same stocks pushed the NASDAQ up 1,500% and the S&P up 600%. But those days are over because there's no more zero rates. As soon as rates started to rise to 4%, that was the end of it. We never got back to that high of January 2022. Never got back there. In fact, we're in a crash because since then we've had, 4 lower highs. But let's get back to the lying. So you heard what they're saying. Here, listen to what Citicorp says about their earnings.
Oh, yeah. You can add Citi to that list of companies beating expectations. Yeah. Sizable beats here, especially on the bottom line for Citigroup.
Oh, yeah, they beat. Morgan Stanley beat. Morgan Stanley.
Beat on the top and bottom lines.
They beat top, bottom, sideways, upside down. They beat everything. These banks are doing terrific. But let's take a look at their numbers. Now, you recall, as I said a moment ago, Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic, and Signature went down because what happened? Because they take that money, your deposit money, buy bonds and buy mortgage-backed securities, put on their balance sheet, and they collect maybe 3%. Doing pretty good. Until we have to pay for zero rates. Inflation starts going up. Biden comes in, he destroys the oil industry. You know the story. Inflation goes up. So all of a sudden, the three banks are sitting there getting 3% income. Now they're getting no income because now the rates are going up beyond their income. They're going up to 5%. But at the same time, the depositors are looking around and say, whoa, wait a minute. They're looking at Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic, Signature. The customers are looking and say, wait a minute. I see how I can get from the government a 3-month treasury, I can get 5%. You're only offering me for 90 days on a CD 1%. So I want my money. I'm gonna take my money out of the bank. I want my savings, my checking account. And the little teller says, we don't have any money to give you. What? No, we don't have any money to give you. Because see what we did, we took your money, like all the other banks, and we put it into bonds, and we put it into mortgages, and put it on our balance sheet. But unfortunately, because of all the zero rates for 13 years and the inflation, we're losing money on those bonds and mortgage-backed securities. So we have no money to give you. Now, I'll tell you what you do is put your name on the list here, and when we sell these bonds, if we can, they're going to be a big loss because we're upside down by $50 billion. But if there's anything left, we'll call you, and we'll let you know, and you can come down and get whatever money's left after the $50 billion loss. Well, can't have that. There'd be a run on the bank. So Powell says, don't worry. I'm going to, and Powell and Aunt B gets together, and they say, we're going to take these three banks, let's take the depositors, shut them up, and we're going to make sure they're whole. But don't tell anybody about the other 180 regional banks that are in the same situation. So what we'll do, we'll turn around and we'll print $2 trillion, put it in a fund, we'll give it a fancy name like we did in 2008, and then what we'll do is tell the 180 banks that they can go in and they can borrow money. So when their customers come in and they want to take their money out of the bank because they want to buy a Fed Treasury and get 5%, we'll have the money to give them. So everybody went into these 180 banks and they're getting their money, no problem. Because why? Because the Federal Reserve had to print money, put it in an account, so these banks go in and borrow it from them so to make sure there'd be no run on the bank. Then what happened? Well, even though they had the bank term funding program for the 180, the first three banks got screwed because who the hell is going to keep their stock on Silicon Valley, First Republic, and Signature? They sold. Also, there's no value to the stock, and the banks went bust. But there's still value to the stocks and the other 180 banks, right? Because nobody knows about it. Nobody's talking about it. Well, how did the big banks get away from all this? Because they're telling us the big bank, Citi's doing great.
Oh, yeah. You can add Citi to that list of companies beating expectations.
Oh, yeah, they're beating expectations. But they're not. Because, see, Citi has unrealized losses, just like Silicon and First Republic and Signature, which were $50 billion, the three of them together. But they had to realize their losses. But Citi has $25 billion. Bank of America, whoa, they're broke, $132 billion. Wells Fargo, $40 billion. JP Morgan, $40 billion in unrealized losses, just like Silicon, Republic, and Signature. Whoa! But wait a minute, they're saying everything's fine. They're beating earnings. They're beating estimates. Yeah, but it's their own estimates. And what they're doing is they got enough money because they're the five biggest banks, and the five biggest banks are really owned by the federal government. They're not going to let those banks go down. They're not going to let those depositors come in and say, no, we can't give you the money, we're broke. So they're able to tell you they're making profits because they don't take those losses and realize them. They keep them on their balance sheet. And they make the loss so they don't have to report them. So these banks, like JP Morgan, look at Bank of America, $132 billion. $2 billion in losses. They didn't have to report it. So they're showing a profit. They're showing a profit when there's no profit. And you're wondering why these banks are going down? More on that when we get back. Join my gang for more information on the stock market, banks, how to short.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG. With the philsgang.com membership, we bring investors right to the floor, into the pits with Phil's daily live webinar classroom. Get inside market guidance on investing strategies. Find out more at philsgang.com or call 877-600-GANG. That's 877-600-4264. Don't have time to analyze and study stocks? At philsgang.com, we recognize that there are all types of investors, and we also recognize that your time is valuable. So we offer investing programs for all individuals. We offer investing programs for long-term and short-term positions. And philsgang.com provides quick and easy to understand investing videos that only take a few minutes to watch. With the philsgang.com investing programs, you will learn technical stock charting, how to execute your trades, and most importantly, you will gain the confidence to know when to get out of a stock and take profits. Sign up at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or give them a call, 877-600-GANG.
I believe that every single human being with a laptop computer and an internet connection should be required to give trading at least a shot.
Following Phil, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life.
I believe that every educated individual on planet Earth.
I would recommend Phil's gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents.
Should do this. It's not for every single human being on Earth. I know this, but it's one of those things that you should try, because if you happen to get it right, if you happen to be one of the ones that this is for.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grandy.
Oh my God.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. That's right, philsgang.com. Join my gang for 10 days. It's free.
What's in front of you is a life of incredible joy, freedom, and independence.
Want the truth when investing in the stock market? Here's how.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. Listen to my radio show every day because that's where you're going to get the truth. You're not going to get the truth listening to these dopes on Fake Business News Network. The other day, Kramer said, don't listen to the banks. They're giving you wrong information. When he told you to buy Merrill Lynch, remember? And what happened? They went broke.
Get the truth at philsgang.com.
Join my gang, philsgang.com. Get the truth. And also listen to me on my podcast on YouTube and Rumble. That's philsgang.com.
I believe that every single human being with a laptop computer and an internet connection should be required to give trading at least a shot.
Following Phil, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life.
I believe that every educated individual on planet Earth.
I would recommend Phil's gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents.
Should do this. It's not for every single human being on Earth. I know this, but it's one of those things that you should try, because if you happen to get it right, if you happen to be one of the ones that this is for.
Follow the money. Follow Phil Grandy.
Oh my God.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy, philsgang.com. That's right, philsgang.com. Join my gang for 10 days. It's free.
What's in front of you is a life of incredible joy, freedom, and independence.
Are you a stock market investor without all the information?
What are you, nuts? Market's going up, market's going down. We're getting all this bad information.
How do you invest intelligently? Phil Grandy can show you.
If you want real information and you really want to know what the market's going to do and you want the truth, go to my site, philsgang.com, and also listen to me on my radio show every weekday at 3 o'clock Eastern.
Phil's got the answers at philsgang.com.
That's philsgang.com, where you get the truth and you get the information you need about the market.
At St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, we're fighting against childhood cancer every day. At the heart of this battle are our donors.
Most of us want to make some type of difference in the lives of others. St. Jude does miraculous work.
The fact that no one has to pay, it's a place where everyone is treated as an equal.
Everybody is welcome here, and it doesn't matter your religion or what part of the world you're from, all that is taken away. It just gives you some hope.
It's just a nice feeling to put your energy into something that really does genuinely make a difference in a child's life.
There's just no greater gift. If we have the ability to help, then we have a responsibility to help.
Finding cures, saving children. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Find out how you can help at stjude.org.
Welcome back. Are you a fan of the Phil's Gang radio show? Then you should check out philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Welcome back to Phil's Gang. To join my gang, just go to my website, philsgang.com. Click where it says Get Started. Your first 10 days is free. You're going to learn how to sell short, and you're going to learn how to execute when you buy properly by watching the bond market. 80% of people lose money in the stock market because they don't even know what the bond market is. And by watching the bond market, that's going to tell you if you should buy a stock or not buy it. These are the things you're going to learn. We have the best educational program, I believe, in the country. And you can ask the thousands of gang members if that's not true. We've been doing this for, 22 years now. Now, listen to what I'm saying. Most people don't realize today this was the day when mortgage rates hit 8%. This is the day that you're paying for all that zero interest rate that the rich got richer by creating the inflation from printing money to buy bonds to bring interest rates down to zero, and all the rich who don't get wages or salaries, they love inflation because their asset prices go up, got incredibly wealthy over these last 13 years. While Main Street thought they were wealthy because they could go buy a car. They could buy 2 cars. They could go buy a house. And for the payment is so low, they don't have to live in a 1,500 square foot house anymore. They can buy a 3,000 square foot house. But now they're learning they were duped. For 13 years, they were duped. And the banks are telling us with the earnings season, oh, everything's going great. But no. They're lying to us because the only difference between Silicon Valley Bank, First Republic, Signature, and Citibank and Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and JP Morgan is that they had to report their unrealized losses. Why? Why didn't Citi, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, JP Morgan? Because, see, they're big enough and they're taken care of by the Federal Reserve and by the government. They make sure they always have enough money so when a depositor comes in and wants the money, they get it. Whereas the smaller banks, and we got 180 of them, remember, we had Silicon Valley, Republic, and Signature, and we got 180 more of those who, when the people go in to get their deposits so they can go buy a treasury at 5% over 90 days, there's no problem. They go up to the window, get their money. But they don't understand behind the window, they're broke. The bank's broke. Because they're being funded by this bank term funding program that's going to, remember, and these banks are borrowing the money. So all these 180 banks are in worse shape because they're borrowing the money. They have to borrow it. It's not given to them. They got to pay it back in March, this coming March. So now they're able to tell a story, the big banks, how great they're doing. They're beating earnings, but they're losing money. Also, the housing market's killing them. They're tightening lending. They're not even making loans anymore. Banks are getting worse. And that means they're under-earned losses with Bank of America, $132 billion, Wells Fargo, $40 billion, JP Morgan, $40 billion, Citi, $5 billion, $25 billion. Those are going to get worse. But see, they won't have to tell you about those. They can keep on their books forever because Powell makes sure that Aunt B at the Treasury keeps printing money to keep them bailed out. See, our banks are insolvent, but nobody believes it. And that's why I've been telling you, we've been in a crash since January 2022. We never got back to that high of January 2022. And that's when we hit that all-time high because interest rates were still at zero all over. And what people don't realize is corporate defaults are up 176% over the last 8 months. Container ships, that tells you how well your economy's doing. They lost 69% of their contracts. You used to have to pay $8,000 for a container. You can get one for $1,800. The 180 regional banks have a loss total of $650 billion. They didn't have to recognize them yet. Oh, they're going to have to. Bankruptcies, personal bankruptcies are up 68%. Small business under 11%. Commercial bankruptcies up 80%. Our national debt's at $33 trillion. Our interest payments are insane. We used to pay $250 billion. Next year we're going to be paying $1 trillion. The $33 trillion went from 32 to 33 trillion in 90 days. $1 trillion in 90 days. It used to take 172 years to get the first $1 trillion. Because why? Biden keeps spending more money than he takes in tax revenues. And tonight he's going to ask for another $100 billion that we don't have. We're broke. People don't realize our country's broke. So he wants us to print another $100 billion. So that means yields are going to keep going up, not down. And you're going to feel even more pain. Oh, but Bank of America and Wells Fargo and JP Morgan won't have to report their unrealized losses. They can keep telling you every quarter, oh, look how good we're doing. We're making profits when they're not. And then 180 banks, about June next year, July next year, that's when they all fail. Look what's going on. Our interest payments are insane. We have a historic deficit, $2 trillion, 40-year high inflation. Our trade deficits are insane. Our productivity has dropped 72%. But what happened? The people that have already withdrawn money out of their homes, their home equity's all gone. Their 401k emergency withdrawals are up 42%. Savings used to be at 30%, then went to 8%, now we're at 2.8%, and credit cards are tapped out at $1 trillion. So see, the banks are really getting worse. So what do? All you have to do is learn how to sell the stocks short when they go down. But see, they never want you to know that. They'll tell you, oh, you short, you're going to lose all kind of money selling short. Which is a bull-faced lie. I want you to think about something for a moment. How can it be that if the market went from 2009 up to 2022, it went up 1,200% in the NASDAQ, 600% on the S&P, but it couldn't hold. The minute it got there, why couldn't it hold? Because we no longer were at zero rates. Rates started to go up from 0 to a quarter, to a half, to 1, to 2, to 2.5, 3, and by the time it hit 4, the market went from that high of January 2022, bam, all the way down 30% by October 13, 2022. It couldn't hold it. Of course not. It's all fake. And then when they tried to rally it again, couldn't do it. So what do? They take the tech stocks. Even though yields were high, yields were at 4%, and tech stocks get choked at 4%, they turned around and they built that pool of $15 billion, and the five biggest banks went in and kept buying Apple and Microsoft, and it pushed the stock market up, right up to March, when the banks collapsed. And then they came in and funded the banks, the 180 banks, and the tech stocks went up again. How could the tech stocks go up from October 2022 to July 2023? How could the tech stocks go up when yields were at 4% and 5%? When the yields were at 1.5%, they started to fall. 2% they fell. 3% they fell. 30%. All of a sudden it's magic, they're going up. Oh, high rates don't bother them anymore? No. That's why we can't make new highs. So your answer is just simply learn how to short, and you're going to have fun at it. Just go to my site, philsgang.com, and just click on where it says get ready. Or call 877-600-GANG and join.
Want more information on this show? Go to philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-GANG.
Want good investing advice from someone you can trust? Listen to Phil Grandy.
With what's going on today in the economy, especially the stock market, it gets really complicated, but it doesn't have to be. My job is to make it simple, to get through the fog. And I think I do that, and I think I do a pretty good job of that, especially why you should be buying a stock, or why you should be in the market, or not in the market, or shorting.
Invest wisely with the knowledge of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently? Become a Phil's Gang member and receive the training, advice, and software that will take your investing to the next level. Phil's Gang software is easy to use, painless to navigate, and tells you exactly when to buy and sell to help maximize profits. Sign up for a 10-day free trial to see our platform in action. Learn more at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. When you listen to the advice of Phil Grandy at philsgang.com, you'll find investing in the stock market makes sense with the right guidance.
People keep saying to me, boy, things are hard, things are tough. Boy, the market's really screwed up. And I don't agree with them. For us here at Phil's Gang, we make it so it's simple. It doesn't matter if the market's bad or good. We consistently do well because we make it simple. And just like for my listeners on the radio or on the internet or my podcast, we make it simple. We try to break it down so you really understand why the market is going up or why there's continued inflation or why the bank rates are going up. So you understand, especially yields. The most important thing to understand how yields work. Just what we do. We work hard at it.
Trusted advice, easy to understand strategies that will make you a better investor. Get all the details at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Want the truth when investing in the stock market? Here's how.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. Listen to my radio show every day because that's where you're going to get the truth. You're not going to get the truth listening to these dopes on Fake Business News Network. The other day, Kramer said, don't listen to the banks. They're giving you wrong information. When he told you to buy Merrill Lynch, remember? And what happened? They went broke.
Get the truth at philsgang.com.
Join my gang, philsgang.com. Get the truth. And also listen to me on my podcast on YouTube and Rumble. That's philsgang.com.
When the stock market is up one day and down the next, you need experienced advice from a pro.
Hi, I'm Phil Grandy at philsgang.com. I know you're sitting there watching the stock market. You're going, what? Is this nuts? Market goes up 700 points. Next day goes up 800 points. Then the market goes back down. Then it goes back up. What that is volatility.
You want to invest your money and grow your wealth. How do you invest intelligently?
But you got to anticipate what's going to happen with the market. And that's what we give you. Information so you can anticipate in advance what the market's going to do so you know what stocks to buy, you know what stocks to short. It's all about having good information and anticipation. You got to anticipate. The one thing you can't do is rely on your brokers. Listen.
Our responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
What are you, nuts? Partners and shareholders? You're not included.
Check out the free 10-day trial and follow Phil to investing success. Learn more at philsgang.com. philsgang.com.
I've been a Phil's Gang member since 2014. Over that time, I've generated over six-figure profits. Following Phil, his charting system has really been a huge impact on my career and my life. I would recommend Phil's Gang to the mom and pop out there. I would recommend it to parents teaching their children. I would recommend it to grandparents. If you really trust in their system, you will do well.
For more information, go to philsgang.com or give us a call at 877-600-4264. Welcome back. Are you a fan of the Phil's Gang radio show? Then you should check out philsgang.com or give them a call at 877-600-4264. Now, here's Phil.
Welcome back to Phil's Gang. Remember, every day I put on Instagram and YouTube for their short, I don't mean selling short, they have short segments. They're a minute long, and I do those every day, and they're free. You should check it out. And again, when I tell you, the only thing you can do right now to protect yourself is learn how to sell short. You can buy Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble. They're going to tell you to buy more bonds. They're going to tell you all this stuff. Nothing's going to work. There's no place to hide. You saw that in the dot-com crash. You saw that in the housing crash. But for them to tell us this is really sickening.
And of course, the economy as of now is quite strong, led by the consumer.
The economy is quite strong. Well, let me see. Let's forget the banks are broke. How about the government? It has a negative net worth of $20 trillion. We have a negative net worth of $20 trillion. And when you go to bed at night and you wake up in the morning, and before your feet hit the floor, we added another $1.5 billion every morning. Unbelievable. No wonder people fart when they get out of bed. Not all people. A national debt, $33 trillion. But our debt, our debt to how we grow, debt to our growth is 122%. Our debt is 122% compared to our growth. Our debt should be only at 60, not 122. What we owe, deficits. The GDP, you hear about GDP, what we owe. So our deficits to how we're growing is 6%. That's insane. It has to be at 3%. So our debt is rising 60% faster than our economy. Our debt is rising 35% faster than our wages. And you got the 5 biggest banks that are insolvent. They're broke, but it's okay because the government owns them. And they're not going to admit to their unrealized losses, not the way that Silicon Valley and First Republic Signature had to, because they can keep it on their balance sheet forever. Because what happens, the more they print money to keep them bailed out, the more yields are going up. And yesterday, yields, unbelievable. The 10-year Treasury yield hit 5.9%. 5.9. Remember why these banks aren't making money. Remember how banks make money. Banks make money by borrowing short and lending long. They can't do that anymore. Banks keep losing money now. Because instead of borrowing at 4.8% and selling you money at 5.8%, they're borrowing at 5.8% and selling you money at 4.8%. That's how Silicon Valley Bank, Republic, and Signature got those losses of $50 billion unrealized losses, and that's why Citi is at $25 billion, Bank of America's $132 billion, Wells Fargo $40, JP Morgan $40 billion. They're same reason, same thing. That's why they're upside down. It means their portfolio, their value has gone down. But today they come out and said, look how the banks are doing. They're doing so well. And the economy's doing well. How can the economy be doing well? They're saying we're in a Goldilocks economy right now. Are you nuts? In 90 days, Biden increased our debt by $1.2 trillion. But look, if you're with us and you knew how to short, you would be up. What did we say with the builders? We shorted the builders back in September. Our color-coded chart turned red. Let us know. It went from green to red. Let us know the institutions were taking their money out. So our members, the members who did short it, when it turned red to where it is today, still red, that's a 14% gain. But now let's go look at our oil. But I had everybody get into oil. Because oil was dropping, right? And we were shorting oil, by the way, when it was dropping. But I kept watching oil, and what I watch is USO for symbol, and that is the United States Commodities Fund, United States Oil Fund. And oil kept dropping. It was dropping all the way from June 9th, 2022, down until July 5th, 2023. It was a 35% drop. And my color-coded chart turned green. But I also knew from being in the oil industry I owned an oil company, that anytime oil per barrel drops about 35%, like us and all the other people in the oil industry, you go out and you buy as much oil as you can and you store it in your farms, oil tank farms. And then, but more important than that is my color-coded chart turned green around 60. And today oil is around, and today it's at 81, so that's probably about a 35% gain. Now, I'm not saying every gang member made 35% in oil or 20% selling the builders, because I don't know. I don't know all their accounts. But if they follow our educational program, if you follow our program and you follow, we stay with the same 6 stocks, and then we have 12 stocks called our bonus stocks. But the 6 stocks is where we make about 70% of our money every year. And the bonus stocks make up the difference. And when you stay with the same stocks, but they're the best. We have the best tech stocks, we have the best oil stocks, we have the best staples. If you stay with the best stocks, and then you let the patterns come to you, that's what you learn. Anyone who's good at investing, they wait for the buy pattern to come to them. And not only the buy pattern, but we built our own charts so we could see the money flow. Was money going in or money going out? You don't get that with your chart. No other chart. These are charts we designed ourselves. It's a hell of a tool. So we're going to give all this to you for 10 days. You don't have to pay a thing. But I think you're going to realize the importance of shorting, because it's over. They can try to stall. Look how they've been stalling this market from the crash. Again, here, earnings. This market today, we would have been down the last 2 days about probably 30%. The S&P would have been down 30%. They told the truth about the banks, about the earnings. But there's some great opportunities. There's always an opportunity in the stock market. If you know how to buy a stock, but also if you know when a stock market's going down, how to make money when it's going down, called selling short. Just think about that for a moment. Then it doesn't matter. You're never right or you're never wrong. You execute. You just execute what you're supposed to. When the stock's going up or you're going to know how to execute. If the market's going down and we're in a downtrend, why are you going to fight it? Buy on a dip, they tell you. Keep buying on the dip, buying the dip. What are you, nuts? Buy on a dip? In a downtrend? That's what they told the people who were at Enron, remember? Those dopes, including Kramer, buying the dip all the way down. They got killed. But if you're shorting Enron like we did, you made some good money. Made some good money. You see, the biggest problem right now for the banks, as I said, is they are tightening. They are not lending. So that means mortgages hitting 8%, banks are out of business. They're out of business. Their heyday is gone. Their heyday is gone. And now for banks to go in and buy bonds and mortgages, that's crazy. Crazy. So Bidenomics has not worked. In fact, what they're not telling you is the economic indicators. We have what they call U.S. economic indicators, what everybody looks at. Real GDP, non-farm payrolls, the PPI, the CPI, consumer confidence, retail sales, durable goods. You know those indicators have been down for 18 straight months, and they got the nerve to come out and say this?
And of course, the economy as of now is quite strong.
Strong? Are they nuts? Hey, join the gang. PhilsGang.com. See you on the charts.
You have been listening to Phil's Gang with your host, Phil Grandy, on the Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Off the Wall Street Radio Network. Remember to visit Phil's website at philsgang.com. That's philsgang.com. Or call the office, 877-600-4264. That's 877-600-4264.
It's up to me.